Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I'm sure that all of us can identify with. It's the underdog rises to the top. Say that again. The underdog rises to the top. Now, we all are aware of what it means to be an underdog. You're trying to accomplish something and against all odds. And for some strange reason, you might think that it's impossible to achieve, or if you think you can, others are confident that you can't. Or many times they are hoping that you can. And most underdogs who ever rise to the top do so because they accept the fact that whether other folks believe it or not, they know they can. Now, the underdog rises to the top for me today is to talk about the Super Bowl game of 2018. Right there in the heart city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And it's kind of strange that I'd be talking this subject because I am a Vikings fan. And the Vikings have been waiting forever, like the Eagles, to win a Super Bowl. Now, they've gone to Super Bowls before. In fact, they've gone at least 4 times, but they never won. And one thing I learned when we went to the championship game against the Eagles, we were really hoping. I mean, we had just beat out a team. We had just beat out a team. Some might say it was a team we won because of luck. And truly, and guess when you admit it, it really was luck. You know, on the last play of the game, we had caught a ball and another from a team that thought they had beat us. You know how it is, because we were underdogs. And we won. The New Orleans Saints. Now, you know the New Orleans Saints. Those guys are great. Breeze and the whole team. I mean, they'll whop it on you in a minute. And for some strange reason, they got to the point, I'm sure if they did, and a lot of people had, New Orleans Saints got this. Man, and at that last few minutes, that last second, number 14 brought it in. And we were as excited as possibly can be. I tell you what, we were as excited by beating the New Orleans Saints as the Eagles were winning the Super Bowl. I mean, we danced and we partied just to beat that game. But then we went down to play the Eagles, a championship game, and they beat us like we were high school kids. And so I'm thinking right now, I hated it. I wanted to go to Super Bowl, but we don't want to just go to Super Bowl to be going. We want to win. But with that whipping we got from the Eagles, I was confident that any hopes that we would have had would have been, it would have just been overcome, squashed. But what the game happened to represent is that even though the Patriots established, been to the Super Bowl many times, won many championships, dynamic, if you want to say, they ranked with the greatest. This was the system. This represented the powers that be in football. But one else had a hunger. And they fought through that hunger. And having done so, they won. And so it made everybody who considered themselves an underdog, everybody who has had something that they've been trying to accomplish, and for some strange reason, I'm just cooking a little breakfast. For some strange reason, they just could not be successful. It might have been trying to finish college or get into college. For one reason or another, you have had problems. But when you see, if you don't give up, if you just continue to strive, somewhere down that line you might succeed. Maybe it had nothing to do with college. Maybe it had to do with something that was much more important than something like that. Maybe it was trying to find a better life for yourselves. Maybe it was trying to get a job and you've never been able to get the kind of job you want. Maybe it was trying to overcome some political problems that's been choking you down. Maybe it's Republicans trying to make sure they get in, or the people whose voice was never heard. They might have been a Republican or a Democrat, but their voices were never heard, and they were waiting for someone to come and speak for them, or have their voice heard, at least now. And so this represents that these things can really happen. Maybe it could represent, say, a race of people who wanted to stop being relegated to a position that they reject themselves, but so many others will accept as being real. Maybe it's just a turn in life. Maybe it was all of you who have had something that you have wanted to see overcome. This represents that it can happen. But ladies and gentlemen, even though these things can happen, we have to be concerned that when they do happen, let it happen for the good. Let it happen so you can be joyous and not destructive. Let it happen so that everybody can embrace what you're doing and feel good for you, because now you have overcome. Not that they reached out so much to help you, though they did, but that you were committed, that you were dedicated, and that you gave it all. And in giving it in your all, it finally happened. Maybe it's something as simple as the halftime show where a guy runs around singing songs and entertaining everyone, and out of the blue, here's a kid that comes on and stands beside one of his favorite entertainers and take a selfie. And all of a sudden, his phone is jumping all over the place. He, who's just an average Joe citizen, guy going to school every day, now he's on national stage, Good Morning America, being highlighted as being something that's so fantastic. I mean, even something that simple can play a major role in feeling good about yourselves. But ladies and gentlemen, just think about how fantastic it is to have a nation could change like that. A nation that's filled with a whole lot of problems. Let's think about the nations of the world, not just America, but say in North Korea, where they say people are hungry. Let's say Russia, where they say there's a lot of hunger going on there, a lot of killing going on there by the government. Or where you have totalitarian regimes where people are really afraid and they do what they're told to do. They even march in step, but when you see them on TV, everybody's legs are going up in step when the head's turning, making them look like it's unified. But it's unity under oppression. Now that's not that's not what we call rising to the top. But they might. But let's say if you're there and you want to see something different, you want to see some freedom, even in the United States, with whether you are a builder who thinks that you can do anything and everybody might be against you, but you believe in yourself and you come forward and you address the issues as you see it, and you see yourself rising to the top. That's a fantastic thing, to be able to rise to the top. You can't even take that away from people who find themselves in that position. Only thing, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to be cognizant of is to make sure that whatever it is about, when we rise to the top, let everybody shine. Let everybody get a chance to see the glee, and not put damnation on others and hurt and pain on others just because you rose to the top. Almost like to say, I rose to the top, now it's time to get even. No, my friends, that's not a good way to go. Many people go that way. But I also want to say this to all of our American citizens. Black folks, white folks, Republicans and Democrats, men and women, gay and straight. We all got an ambition in life. We all want basically the same things in life. We want our dreams to come true. We want, and I say want our dreams to come true because they haven't come true yet. So this, by committing ourselves and staying on the march and not giving up, and one day you might go to the mountaintop. But let's not talk about going to the mountaintop one day. I think we should be inspired. Maybe we should rise to the top today. Maybe we should change those things that have been holding us back, that's keeping us back, and stand up. And something says that if we do this, we can, no doubt. Make sure that it's a good thing. I have to say make sure it's a good thing because so many people rise to the top and they start tearing up stuff. and want to start fires and start riots and go all kinds of things. This is their way of expressing their excitement about rising to the top. But I'm talking about something that's very, very, I believe, is essential for everybody. Everybody wants their dream to come true. Everybody wants to experience peace and prosperity in their lives, no doubt. And this, my friends, is so simple if we just don't give up, if we believe in ourselves. I constantly talk to you about changing our nation. I talk about changing the world, but I can't talk about changing the world with any sincerity of with any certainty if I'm living at home and there's no real stuff being done or represented that I'm talking to others about. And this, when I say home, I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about in your family life. All of these things matter. But when I speak to you, I really focus in on those things that are common amongst us. You know, as I mentioned, the reality of that our dreams can come true, the realities that those things of peace and prosperity and joy, which are an expression of our ability to at least survive, things that are so uniquely common amongst us, like for survival, food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and a job. You think, you know that those things that I just mentioned are absolutely essential. You know they bring about peace. You know they bring about prosperity. You know it brings about joy. But how do you do it in such a way that it works for everybody? It works for everybody. Well, sometimes the problem is that sometimes we might get off on personalities, thinking that somebody else can do it better. We might get off on thinking about gender, thinking somebody else can do it better, or thinking that a race person can do it better. We always take it out of ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves that we got the potential to do it. And ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying to you today, by what we saw at that Super Bowl game, by the Philadelphia Eagles, it is saying to every last one of us, I don't care how far you at the top, you're not satisfied. That's why your barns keep running over, trying to find satisfaction, and you still haven't found it. And you're thinking a few more rewards, whatever you get, will make it, but it won't. The message is to a simple person who seems to have nothing. It is to the simple people who would look at it, being able to go to the dentist and get their teeth fixed so they can smile in public, so they can smile when they talk to their friends, would be a success. I'm saying all of that. If you, the individual, and I say to you as an individual, because each of us have to be able to come to this point where we want to rise to the top. Each of us have to come to the point where we're willing to stand up and commit everything that we rise to the top. We have to say that it is no longer any good riding on the bottom. It is no good riding in the middle. It is no good. We must all rise to the top and float on air. What is air? Air is love. What is love? Love is the ability to recognize what keeps us up, and we share it responsibly together to guarantee that we stay floating. Hey, heavenly. So I want to take this moment to say to all of you, I said many times about a power that is greater than just you and I. And that is that power that gives us the ability to go on when it seems like the road is cut off. There's nothing else there. It gives us the ability to believe that we can still step out. When we see people who are kayaking, when we see people who put these, I don't know the word for it, they put on big t-shirts, it seems, and jump off of mountains and fly. You say, how in the world could they do it? But they did it. They believed in themselves. They didn't let falling, the fear of falling, stop them. They went forward anyway. So I'm saying, let's make our nation great. Sure, we have experienced something that is unique. Donald Trump became the president of the United States. Donald Trump has records that people don't want to even think about a president having. And since he's been president, he's been doing, to some people, some good things. But as far as making this nation a great nation, he's been doing some very destructive things. But at the same time, we can't blame Donald Trump alone, because Donald Trump is expressing himself. We have to take responsibility and blame ourselves. We must be, just like those people are speaking out. They don't understand. Why? Just like we haven't understood. Why do we stay in the position at the bottom? Why do we stay in the middle? It's because we don't understand. And we're, in the past, just like these people over there who champion the new administration, it's like we are wishing for somebody to come along and champion our thing. But it'll be the same way. Just like he came along to champion their thing and it's making many of you sick. If someone comes along championing your thing, it'll make you happy, but it'll make many others sick. So why don't we overcome that? We should be smarter. We have been human beings for a long time now, and we should have learned something from our being a child. We have, some of us at least, should be mature enough to recognize that it is not tomorrow, it is not yesterday, it is today, it is today. So I'm calling on everybody to hear my voice, to recognize this, that underdogs, every last one of you, can rise to the top. And if you rise in the best way, it will be the best that the world could ever be. Do you think I should be ashamed to talk to you about the world being beautiful just because it never has reflected that in the past? Should I just shut up? Should I not believe? Should I think that it's okay that people whose dreams have been squashed for one reason or another should continue to be squashed because they didn't rise up and fight the dog fight like the requirements has been in the past to get up? No, I'm not going that way, because that way is nothing but a continuation of the old way. I'm talking about a brand new way where we say to ourselves, yes, I am fortunate. I have a home. I have a job. I have my educational benefits. I have access to health care. And I am somebody. And let us look in the mirror. And when we look in the mirror, we don't just see ourselves. We see the whole population of the world in the mirror beside us. And when we look deep down in our own eyes, in our own mirror, we see the hearts of our sisters. We see the hearts of our brothers gleaming because we stand there together, unified. The number one. We are what? Underdogs no more. Why? Because we have learned that we are somebody, and we refuse to be anything else. Let us learn from this Super Bowl game, the number 52, happening right here in Minnesota, with the Eagles playing the powers that be of Supersport, the New England Patriots. Oh, they were fantastic. Oh, they didn't give up anything. They just ran against a formidable opponent who fought to the end. And in the end, the nation will smile together. Thank you.